Welcome to Improve Your English too. In a world where poetry was once filled with grandeur, myths, and artificial elegance, William Wordsworth entered with a revolutionary idea. That true poetry doesn't live in palaces or battlefields, but in the songs of birds, the smile of a child, and the silence of mountains. He didn't just write poems. He gave voice to nature, soul to emotions, and purpose to simplicity. Today, we walk through the poetic journey of the man who taught the world how to feel deeply and live gently. William Wordsworth, the father of English Romanticism. Early life, poetic and thoughtful tone. William Wordsworth was born on April 7, 1770, in Cockermouth, a small town in the north of England. He was surrounded by the natural beauty of the Lake District, a place that would shape his soul and define his work forever. But beauty was not the only thing he knew in childhood. At the tender age of 7, he lost his mother. And by 13, his father passed away, leaving him and his siblings emotionally adrift. Separated from his sister Dorothy, young William grew up with loneliness as a silent companion. But instead of breaking him, sorrow opened a new world. A world where trees whispered comfort, rivers sang freedom, and mountains gave him strength. He once wrote, "The meanest flower that blows can give thoughts too deep for tears." It was the beginning of a lifelong romance with nature. Education and political ideals, deep, mature tone. Wordsworth later attended St. John's College, Cambridge, where he was intellectually nourished, but emotionally restless. After graduation, he traveled to France, right in the heart of the French Revolution. At first, he was filled with hope. He believed the revolution would bring liberty and justice. But what began as a dream of freedom soon turned into violence and destruction. Wordsworth returned to England, broken and disillusioned. His political idealism faded. But in that emotional darkness, something new emerged. A belief that true revolution begins within, through love, imagination, and connection with nature. Lifestyle and inner world, calm, descriptive tone. Wordsworth wasn't a man of crowds. He didn't seek fame or fortune. He lived simply, walked daily among lakes and trees, and kept a quiet home with his beloved sister Dorothy Wordsworth, whose presence and journal entries inspired many of his finest works. Later, he married Mary Hutchinson, his childhood friend. They had 5 children, though 2 of them died in early youth. A tragedy that deepened his poetry and made his words even more soul-stirring. Literary works, informative and passionate tone. Let's now explore his greatest poetic contributions. Blue Book Lyrical Ballads, 1798. Co-authored with Samuel Taylor Coleridge, this collection marked the birth of Romantic poetry in England. In it, Wordsworth abandoned classical rules and wrote in everyday language about ordinary people and real emotions. In his famous preface, he wrote, "Poetry is the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. It takes its origin from emotion recollected in tranquility." The collection included masterpieces such as Lines Written in Early Spring. Simon Lee. Lines composed a few miles above Tintern Abbey, a deeply spiritual reflection on nature, memory, and growth. Blossom I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud, Daffodils. This poem has become a symbol of Romantic poetry. Inspired by a walk with Dorothy, it describes the joy of discovering a field of dancing daffodils. A poet could not but be gay. In such a jocund company, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. These lines remind us that even a single moment in nature can bring eternal joy. Open Book The Prelude. Published after his death, The Prelude is a monumental autobiographical poem in blank verse. It traces the growth of the poet's mind, from childhood to adulthood, and reveals how nature and personal reflection shaped his moral and artistic development. It is perhaps Wordsworth's greatest work, though it received full recognition only after his passing. Glowing Star Ode, Intimations of Immortality. This is a mature, emotional meditation on how childhood innocence fades, yet some divine light remains in the soul. Though nothing can bring back the hour of splendor in the grass, of glory in the flower, we will grieve not, rather find strength in what remains behind. Later life and honours, noble tone. In 1843, Wordsworth was appointed Poet Laureate of England. But by this time, he had slowed down. The deaths of 2 children and his dear friend Coleridge left him silent and contemplative. He passed away on April 23, 1850, and was laid to rest in the quiet churchyard of Grasmere, beneath the hills and skies that had given him poetry. Legacy, inspirational and powerful tone. William Wordsworth left behind more than poems. He left a philosophy. That truth lives in simplicity, that emotion is the essence of being, and that nature is not just outside us, but within. He taught the world that the greatest beauty lies not in monuments or thrones, but in wildflowers, gentle streams, and the innocent eye of a child. His poetry continues to whisper, "Come to nature, and you will find yourself." OUTRO, warm and professional tone. If this journey into the poetic soul of William Wordsworth inspired you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to improve your English too. Comment below. Which poet's life would you like to discover next? Until then, stay thoughtful, stay kind, and let your heart wander like a cloud.